If you believe you're a person who struggles, life will keep presenting you with struggle. But when you believe you're designed for increase, your mind begins to find paths, opportunities, and ideas that were invisible before. The truth is, money flows to identity before it flows to effort. You can't outwork a mindset that's programmed for scarcity. You can be grinding every day and still find yourself stuck because you've never renewed the inner picture of who you are. Transformation happens when you stop saying, I can't afford it, and start asking, how can I create it? That single shift in language begins to reprogram your mind for abundance. Wealthy people think differently about everything. They see problems as opportunities. They see time as an investment. They see failure as feedback. When you begin to think like that, your behavior naturally follows. You start showing up differently, making decisions from a place of confidence rather than fear. Identity is the soil where every seed of success must grow. If the soil is toxic with doubt, fear, or unworthiness, no matter how many seeds you plant, no matter how many business plans or opportunities come your way, nothing will grow to its full potential. But if your inner soil is rich with belief, vision, and gratitude, the harvest is inevitable. You don't have to chase results. When your inner world is aligned with abundance, the results begin to chase you. The law of attraction is not magic, it's alignment. You attract what you are in harmony with. That means you must become the kind of person who naturally attracts wealth, not by forcing outcomes, but by embodying the mindset of stewardship, creativity, and value. The world reflects back to you who you believe you are. If deep down you think you're undeserving of wealth, you'll subconsciously sabotage opportunities that could bless you. But when you start affirming your worth, honoring your gifts, and walking in purpose, you unlock doors that were once closed. Every wealthy person once had to reframe their relationship with money and self-worth. They had to stop thinking like victims and start operating as visionaries. You cannot expect abundance while thinking in terms of limitation. You cannot demand overflow while speaking the language of lack. Change your words and you begin to change your world. This is why Myron Golden emphasizes spiritual identity. You were created in the image of a creator. So creativity, abundance, and multiplication are already inside you. The question is, have you activated it? When you see yourself as a vessel of divine increase, you stop begging for resources and start becoming a resource. Wealth begins to flow through you, not just to you. You become a channel of value, impact, and influence. That's when the world starts responding differently. Opportunities align, people appear, doors open, because the frequency of your belief matches the reality you're manifesting. Changing your identity is not about pretending, it's about aligning with truth. You're not faking it, you're awakening it. The wealthy version of you already exists in potential form. Every decision you make either feeds that identity or starves it. When you wake up and start seeing yourself as a person of purpose, prosperity, and power, you start acting differently. You carry yourself with confidence. You make decisions from vision, not from fear. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. That's when you'll notice money, opportunities, and connections flowing more freely, not because life got easier, but because you got bigger. Wealth is not an external event. It's an internal evolution. When your self-image shifts, your habits shift. When your habits shift, your results shift. And when your results shift, your reality changes. The moment you begin to think like the person you desire to become, the process of transformation begins. You are not waiting for the right circumstances. You are creating them through identity. The external world must obey the internal reality you've accepted, because your life will always rise to meet the standard of who you believe you are. Create value. Don't chase money. That's the foundation Myron Golden teaches, because wealth doesn't follow effort. It follows impact. Money is not a goal, it's a byproduct of the value you bring to the marketplace. Too many people wake up every morning asking, how can I make more money? That question leads to frustration because it focuses on the effect, not the cause. The truth is, money is never the cause of wealth. Value is. You can't demand the fruit if you've never nurtured the tree. The person who focuses on solving problems will always out-earn the person who focuses on collecting paychecks. When you start thinking in systems, everything changes. A system is simply a repeatable process that produces predictable results. It can be a business process, a content strategy, a marketing funnel, or even a personal routine. The goal is to make success automatic. Myron often says that wealth flows through systems because systems eliminate inconsistency. If your results depend only on your energy or your mood, you'll always be limited. But when your results depend on systems, you can multiply infinitely. Technology has made this principle more powerful than ever before. With automation, digital platforms, and global reach, you can multiply your effort faster than any generation in history. You can create a course once and sell it forever. You can post one video and reach millions. You can build a team that continues your mission while you rest. But it's not just about tools, it's about wisdom. Multiplication happens when you align spiritual laws with practical systems. You can't multiply chaos, you can only multiply order. That's why structure, discipline, and clarity are essential. Another key to multiplication is mentorship. Myron emphasizes that you can't multiply what you don't understand. Learn from those who have already multiplied. Success leaves clues, and systems can be modeled. Find mentors, study their patterns, and apply their frameworks. When you learn from someone who's already achieved multiplication, you shorten your timeline dramatically. You move from years of trial and error to months of strategic execution. That's also multiplication, compressing time through wisdom. But remember, multiplication requires faith. It's not just math, it's mindset and belief. They want success, but they expect failure. The subconscious mind doesn't respond to your wishes, it responds to your expectations. When your expectation aligns with your belief, manifestation becomes automatic. Imagine for a moment the law of gravity. Does it discriminate? It doesn't sleep, and it doesn't change based on who you are. The law of belief and expectation works exactly the same way. It operates constantly whether you understand it or not. You are already using it, either for you or against you. When you expect lack, you pull lack towards you. When you expect increase, you pull increase towards you. The vibration of your belief sends out a signal, and life simply mirrors that signal back to you. This is not mystical. It's a divine principle of alignment. Myron Golden often says that wealth is not created by hard work alone, but by heart work, by aligning the heart's belief with divine truth. You cannot manifest what you secretly doubt. You cannot receive what you constantly reject with your thoughts. Every time you say, I can't, you are instructing the universe to close the door that was meant for you. Every time you say, I am capable, you are opening the floodgates of favor. The words you speak reveal the beliefs you hold, and those beliefs shape your future. To master the law of belief and expectation, you must begin by renewing your mind daily. Replace thoughts of fear with thoughts of faith. Replace self-doubt with self-worth. Speak abundance until it becomes your normal vocabulary. You must train your mind to expect increase the same way you expect the sun to rise. You don't question it. You don't hope for it. You simply know it will happen. That's how wealth flows to those who expect it, not as a miracle, but as a manifestation of a disciplined, faith-driven mindset. When your belief and expectation reach a point of total conviction, your energy changes. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, and act differently. You stop chasing success and start attracting it. Opportunities that once seemed impossible start showing up naturally. People who can help you begin to appear out of nowhere. It's not coincidence, it's consequence. The consequence of unwavering belief and confident expectation. The secret is to make abundance your default setting. When you see lack, remind yourself that it's temporary. When you face setbacks, expect a comeback. When you sow seeds of faith, expect a harvest of increase. This is the spiritual law that governs success. You will always attract what you expect. So expect greatness, expect favor, expect wealth to find its way into your life. Not because you're lucky, but because you are aligned. You were created to live in abundance, not scarcity. You were designed to multiply, not to diminish. The law of belief and expectation is already working for you. The only question is, what are you believing for? If your expectation is low, your results will be small. But if your belief is bold, your blessings will overflow. The power to change your financial future begins not in your hands, but in your mind. Believe it, expect it. And the universe, by divine law, must deliver it. Money is not evil, nor is it holy. It's neutral, just a tool, a magnifier, a mirror that reflects what's already inside of you. When Myron Golden says, use money as a servant, not a master, he's reminding us that money was never meant to control your life. It was meant to expand your ability to live your purpose. The tragedy is that most people serve money while pretending they're chasing freedom. They spend their days working for it, worrying about it, or worshiping it, yet never realize that money is simply energy waiting for direction. When you understand this, you stop chasing money and start commanding it. You begin to use it intentionally, to build, to bless, to bring something valuable into existence. Money amplifies who you are. If you are generous, more money makes you more generous. If you are selfish, more money makes you more selfish. If you are disciplined, wealth multiplies your discipline. If you are careless, money exposes your lack of stewardship. That's why Myron teaches that wealth is a test of character before it's a measure of success. It's not about the dollars in your account. It's about the dominion in your heart. If money controls your decisions, it owns your destiny. But if you control it with purpose, it becomes your servant, a faithful worker in the pursuit of your divine assignment. Respecting money doesn't mean idolizing it. It means understanding its laws, managing it with wisdom, and aligning it with purpose. You must treat it like a trusted employee, not a master who dictates your worth. Too many people work for money their whole lives, while the wealthy let money work for them. That's not because they're luckier. It's because they've learned the principle of mastery. They understand that money follows order. It flows toward clarity, purpose, and productivity. If you waste it, it leaves. If you multiply it with intention, it returns multiplied. That's how money rewards stewardship. It gravitates toward discipline. When you learn to control money, you stop seeing it as a symbol of status and start viewing it as a strategy for impact. You realize that the purpose of wealth isn't accumulation, it's activation. You can build schools, feed families, fund visions, and expand ideas that would otherwise die in silence. Myron often says, money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant. That's because when money serves you, it doesn't just buy things, it builds things. It builds futures, communities, and opportunities. It allows you to do more good, to give more freely, and to live more fully. Wealth without purpose is poverty in disguise. You can have millions and still be broke in spirit if your money has no mission. You can be financially rich and emotionally bankrupt if you've forgotten why you wanted wealth in the first place. True prosperity is when money becomes an extension of your purpose, not a replacement for it. It's when you use your financial increase to elevate others, not just yourself. Because money without meaning becomes meaningless. Purpose is what gives your wealth direction. It transforms income into impact. The difference between those who serve money and those who master it lies in perspective. The one who serves money believes they must work harder, longer, and faster to earn more. The one who masters it understands that money responds to purpose, value, and faith. The servant of money says, I can't afford it. The master of money asks, how can I make it possible? One is controlled by fear. The other is fueled by vision. When you serve money, you shrink your dreams to fit your wallet. When you master money, you expand your wallet to fit your dreams. Money isn't the enemy, it's the evidence. It's evidence of the value you've created, the trust you've earned, and the principles you've applied. That's why Myron teaches biblical wealth principles, because divine order produces divine provision. When you honor the principles of giving, stewardship, and value creation, you align yourself with abundance. Money starts moving towards you instead of away from you. It becomes a servant eager to fulfill its purpose, not a master demanding your obedience. If you want to experience financial freedom, you must first experience mental freedom. You must release the belief that money defines you. It doesn't determine your worth. It reveals it. The real power is not in the paper. It's in the person. The power is in your ability to direct, multiply, and manage resources in alignment with divine purpose. When you reach that point, you stop asking money to make you happy and start using it to make a difference. You realize that money is not something to chase. It's something to attract through value, faith, and service. So use money, but never let it use you. Respect it, but never worship it. Multiply it, but never let it multiply your greed. Let every dollar you earn serve a vision bigger than yourself. When money becomes your servant, you stop working for a paycheck and start working for a purpose. That's when wealth becomes more than numbers. It becomes legacy. Because the greatest evidence of prosperity isn't what you keep. It's what you give, build, and leave behind. And when you understand that, you'll never be mastered by money again. You'll make it your ministry. There are no shortcuts to divine success. Every person who has achieved greatness has done so not because of luck, but because of a relentless commitment to growth and obedience to timeless principles. The truth is, the universe does not reward the wishful thinker. It rewards the disciplined doer. You cannot pray for success and then live in a pattern of procrastination. You cannot desire wealth while disobeying the laws that produce it. Myron Golden teaches that success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming the kind of person who deserves it. And that kind of person is forged through consistency, character, and commitment to growth. Growth is not glamorous, it's gritty. It requires you to confront your comfort zone, to do what you don't feel like doing until you start becoming who you were meant to be. Discipline is not punishment, it's preparation. Every time you choose to read when you could relax, every time you choose to serve when you could be selfish, every time you choose to invest when you could consume, you're building a version of yourself that the future will reward. Consistency compounds in silence. It doesn't shout, it accumulates. One day, all those small acts of faith, those hidden moments of obedience will show up in your life as blessings too big to hide. Obedience to principles is the key that unlocks lasting prosperity. The world celebrates shortcuts, but shortcuts cut you short. Real success cannot be microwaved. It must be marinated. It must pass through process, and process requires patience. You cannot harvest what you never planted, and you cannot plant and harvest in the same season. Divine timing rewards those who work in faith, not those who wait in fear. So when you don't see the fruit yet, keep sowing. When you don't feel the momentum, keep moving. When the results are invisible, remember, faith works before sight does. The principles of growth demand persistence even when progress isn't visible. Every act of obedience multiplies your potential. When you choose to honor the principles of giving, gratitude, and growth, you align yourself with the flow of abundance. The more you give, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more you can give. It's a cycle of divine reciprocity. Myron often says that wealth is not earned. It's attracted through value and obedience. You cannot violate principles and expect prosperity to stay. When you honor them, you create a foundation that cannot be shaken by the storms of the economy or the noise of the world. Wealth is fragile when it's built on trends, but unshakable when it's built on truth. Growth means becoming a lifelong learner. The moment you stop learning, you start losing. Success is not about reaching a destination. It's about expanding your capacity to serve at higher levels. Every new book, every new skill, every new challenge stretches your capacity. You don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you bring into that hour. So when you grow, your value multiplies, and so does your reward. The wealthiest people are not the ones who know the most. They're the ones who never stop learning. Growth is a daily decision, not a one-time event. You must also understand that growth demands humility. You cannot rise higher if you refuse correction. You cannot expand if you think you already know it all. Myron teaches that arrogance is the enemy of acceleration. When you become teachable, you become transformable. The principle of success is simple. God gives more to those who steward what they already have well. If you want more, manage what you have with excellence. If you want to be trusted with millions, be faithful with hundreds. It's not about the size of the seed. It's about the faithfulness of the sower. Commitment to continuous growth is an act of faith. It's trusting that every moment of effort, every lesson learned, every principle obeyed is compounding into something extraordinary. The compound effect doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time. And while most people quit before the miracle happens, those who remain steadfast eventually experience what others call luck. But it's not luck, it's law. It's the law of sowing and reaping. You reap what you sow, but you also reap more than you sow and later than you sow. So don't despise the process. The process is the proof that your purpose is still alive. Growth is not a goal, it's a lifestyle. It's waking up every day determined to be better than you were yesterday. Not for competition, but for contribution. It's living in alignment with divine principles, not because they're easy, but because they work. It's believing that your best days are not behind you. They're within you, waiting for you to evolve enough to reach them. When you commit to growth, you honor the God who designed you for greatness. You stop waiting for opportunities and start becoming the opportunity. Because true wealth, the kind that lasts and blesses generations, is built not by chasing success, but by obeying the principles that create it. You were never created to struggle. You were designed to multiply. Myron Golden's formula isn't about money. It's about mastery. When you align with principles, purpose, and persistence, the wealth you seek will start seeking you. Most people are chasing money, but money only chases value. The question is, are you becoming valuable enough for wealth to find you? You see, wealth isn't built by luck, it's built by law. Myron Golden teaches that anyone, from broke to blessed, can multiply their income by understanding the divine principles of value, mindset, and discipline. In this video, we'll break down the exact steps that transform zero into millions, if you have the courage to apply them. You don't make money to become wealthy. You become wealthy inside before it ever shows up outside. Wealth is not something you chase. It's something you attract by who you become. Every financial breakthrough begins first as a mental and spiritual transformation. Until your identity expands, your income will remain trapped at the level of who you currently believe yourself to be. That's why Myron Golden says your mindset is not just a tool, it's the thermostat of your life. If your financial thermostat is set on survival, you can work harder, grind longer, and still end up right back at the same level because your subconscious identity keeps pulling you back to where it's comfortable. Think about this. If a millionaire loses everything, they can rebuild it again. Why? Because their identity has already been conditioned for abundance. They don't see themselves as broke. They see themselves as temporarily between millions. That's the power of identity. When you shift who you are, not just what you do, you shift what becomes possible. Your external life always rises or falls to the level of your self-image. When you stop chasing money and start creating value, you shift from a survival mindset to a success mindset. Most people are stuck in the loop of working harder, not smarter. They think if they just put in more hours, they'll finally get ahead. But effort without strategy leads to exhaustion, not elevation. Myron teaches that the key to multiplication lies in serving at scale. The size of your paycheck will always be directly connected to the size of the problem you solve and the number of people you help solve it for. That's why a doctor earns more than a clerk, and a business owner earns more than an employee. The level of responsibility and the impact they create is different. Think about this. If you want to make $100, solve a $10 problem for 10 people. If you want to make $1 million, solve a $10,000 problem for 100 people. It's not magic, it's math combined with mastery. The world will always compensate you in direct proportion to the value you contribute. But to create true value, you must first understand people's pain points. You must ask, what keeps them awake at night? What problems are they desperate to solve? What transformation are they willing to pay for? Once you know the answers, you can design a solution so powerful that it attracts money naturally. Value creation is not just about products or services. It's about transformation. People don't buy drills, they buy the hole in the wall. They don't buy coaching, they buy confidence. They don't buy information, they buy transformation. When you learn to communicate your value in terms of the result you deliver, people won't question your price. They'll see it as an investment in their progress. Myron Golden often says that money is just a certificate of appreciation, a token of gratitude from one person to another for solving a meaningful problem. The more people appreciate what you do, the more of those certificates you collect. The chase for money is rooted in fear, the fear of not having enough. But value creation is rooted in faith, the belief that what you have inside of you is enough to create abundance. When you focus on giving, money starts to flow in ways you never expected. You attract opportunities, connections, and clients who see your worth. You move from scarcity to sufficiency. You begin to realize that the secret to getting more is giving more wisdom, more solutions, more excellence, more service. But to create that level of value, you must first invest in yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. Read books, attend seminars, learn from mentors, and expand your skills. Every new level of learning unlocks a new level of earning. The marketplace doesn't pay you for your time. It pays you for the value you bring during that time. If you're being paid the same, it's not because the world is unfair. It's because your value has stayed the same. When you grow, your income grows with you. The wealthiest people in the world are not those who chase checks. They're the ones who chase change. They solve problems that mattered. They looked for gaps in the marketplace and filled them with creativity and excellence. Myron teaches that prosperity is not about accumulation. It's about contribution. When your mission becomes serving others at a higher level, money becomes magnetized to you. It begins to chase you instead of you chasing it. Creating value is not a one-time event, it's a mindset. It's waking up every morning asking, how can I make someone's life better today? It's showing up with integrity, consistency, and excellence in everything you do. It's realizing that wealth flows through people, not around them. The more people you serve, the more doors open. When you understand this truth, you'll never look at work the same way again. So stop chasing money. It runs faster than you do. Chase mastery, chase meaning, chase excellence. Because when you do, money becomes the echo of your value, following you wherever you go. The harvest will always come to those who plant the right seeds, seeds of service, innovation, and purpose. The question isn't whether wealth is possible for you. The real question is, are you ready to create enough value for the world to reward you abundantly? Leverage the power of multiplication, because working harder alone will never make you rich. You can't build lasting wealth by trading your time for money. You must learn how to multiply what you already have. This is one of the most powerful lessons Myron Golden teaches. and it's what separates the average from the extraordinary. Multiplication is divine math. It's not about addition, where you add one thing to another and slowly crawl forward. It's about exponential growth, where one seed becomes a tree, and that tree bears fruit with more seeds that grow more trees. That's the secret of wealth, learning how to create systems that multiply your time, your effort, and your impact. The problem is most people are stuck in the cycle of working harder but never moving ahead. They put in longer hours, take on more tasks, but their results barely change. That's because effort without leverage is limitation. Myron says you must stop asking, how can I do more? And start asking, how can I make what I do produce more? The key to multiplication is leverage. Leverage allows one small action to create a large result. When you understand leverage, you stop being the engine and start being the architect. You design systems, build assets, and create processes that work for you even when you're not present. Think about this. A person who works 8 hours a day can only earn for 8 hours. But a person who builds a business system, writes a book, creates a digital product, or invests in an asset can earn 24 hours a day. That's multiplication. That's how wealth is built. You move from labor income to leveraged income, and from leveraged income to legacy income. You start building things that outlive your daily effort. True wealth is when your income grows faster than your effort and your impact grows wider than your reach. Multiplication begins with a mindset shift. You must see yourself as a creator, not just a worker. Workers execute tasks. Creators design systems. You must believe that what you create can expand beyond you. If you doubt the value of your work, you'll never release it. Faith is the seed that allows multiplication to begin. You plant it, nurture it, and let divine principles do their part. Just as a seed doesn't struggle to become a tree, you don't have to force wealth to grow when you're aligned with the right principles. Your job is to plant and water. The increase comes naturally. As you build systems and assets, you must also multiply your impact. Wealth without impact is empty. The more lives you improve, the more income you attract. It's a universal law. Serve more, earn more. When you help people solve greater problems, your wealth grows with your influence. So don't just multiply for yourself. Multiply to create transformation for others. Build something that makes life better, easier, or more meaningful for someone else, and you'll never have to chase money again. Money will begin chasing you. The power of multiplication is available to everyone who chooses to apply it. You don't need to be born into wealth. You need to understand the laws that create it. Build systems, not stress. Create assets, not excuses. Focus on multiplying value, not just effort. Because when you master multiplication, you stop surviving and start scaling. You move from paycheck to purpose, from pressure to prosperity. And the moment you start multiplying what you have, you'll discover that wealth isn't something you pursue, it's something you produce. Your belief is the foundation upon which your entire reality is built. It's the invisible architect designing every visible result in your life. Before you ever earn more money, before you ever experience abundance, before you ever rise to your next level, you must first believe that it's possible for you. Belief is not just positive thinking. It's a deep conviction that reshapes your perception of what's possible and aligns your behavior with destiny. When you truly believe in the power within you, the universe begins to organize itself around that belief. Every opportunity, every connection, and every resource begins to move in your direction, pulled by the magnetic force of your expectation. You see, belief is not passive. It's an active force. It commands motion in your thoughts, your words, and your actions. When you believe you can achieve something, your brain starts to search for ways to make it happen. The mind is like a magnet. It attracts ideas, people, and circumstances that resonate with what you hold to be true. If you believe wealth is scarce, your reality will confirm it. But if you believe wealth is abundant and that you have the power to create it, you begin to see possibilities where others see limitations. Belief opens your spiritual eyes to opportunities that were there all along, waiting for you to recognize them. Expectation, on the other hand, is belief in motion. It's belief with direction. It's the anticipation that what you believe is not only possible, it's inevitable. The law of expectation says that you don't get what you want, you get what you expect. People often say they want wealth, but they expect struggle.